Yeah. No, we seek that higher knowledge. Only the ignorant can't relate. We just kill them with love instead of hate. That's what it's about.
We are more.
Yeah. Shout out to the Grand Sheik, Cujo L, Iron Sheik. Yeah.
We are Moors. Heard what I said? Circle 7 snap back, not just affairs. We are Moors. You heard what I said? Blue, white, green flags, not just red. We are Moors. Heard what I said? Keep talking reckless and move these for your head. We are Moors. You heard what I said? The slave named Crest might have a more head. We are Moors.
20 Moors rockin', you could call them Moroccans. Race COS adepts, let's get it poppin'. Got a problem with my sheep, got a problem with me. I be on the front line rolling 23 deep. I be studying for hours, 7 days a week, working on my higher self, cause the devil don't sleep. Big ups to Cujo L, that's the Iron Sheik. 7's up, facing the east, praising Allah. Astrology, cosmology, that's the real law. I slow roast ya, master the flame like Zoe Roaster. The rise of the new Moors, old heads move over. That Kundalini energy rising up like a cobra. This is training day, mounting up with real soldiers. Elevate beyond the hate and claim your lost estate. The only reason you hate is you too blind to relate. The only reason you hate is you too blind to relate.
We are Moors. Heard what I said? Circle 7 snap back, not just affairs. We are Moors. You heard what I said? I don't rock a hat, just a turban, no affairs. We are Moors. Heard what I said? Keep talking reckless and move these for your head. We are Moors. You heard what I said? The slave named Crest might have a more head. Stop talking crazy. You can't be everything but Moors. That's like willing to stay minority and not mature. Therefore, Tosh to be bait taught the world don't respect y'all. However, since you wanna be it, you go down when they fall. They, the ones you call government, that's really a corpse. Black man means funeral director, should make sense of course. Music is the food and the message, the medicine. Mumble food is poison. I'm with the golden era veterans like Mark D. Condolences, QB, RIP Prodigy, who studied the history of the Moors and etymology. You missed the Corsica headband disguised as a bandana. Moorish MC, the real Moroccan, not a French Montana. Kendrick Lamar, you Sarahite, trust me, Hebrew's a language. Lupe put Moors in his video, made the point vantage. Yassine Bey knows Sabir, Bey knows Moorish Master MC. Fruquan Bey and Daddy IU are on some Moorish degrees. Sprague and Bujuno, they even killed Peter because of Macintosh. Still visit big up a planet, hip-hop astronauts. Milky Way flow, rays of tassels, blind unbelievers. To higher than other senses, to still pick up the frequency. Pick your addiction, truth will still make itself known. To go platinum now, you gotta give up more plus your soul. Watch Professor build pyramids, I watch Drink Sham steady. Cause Nori said Drew Ali on a track, so call me petty. Also Martin Moore exec produced the War Report album. Aboriginal Super Cat taught me how to hang and scalp them. Operation Lockdown, video feathers like I said to do. Initiate invasions, activate outdoors every spook. We are Moors. Heard what I said? Circle 7 snap back, not just affairs. We are Moors. You heard what I said? Blue, white, green flags, not just red. We are Moors. Heard what I said? Keep talking reckless and move these for your head. We are Moors. You heard what I said? The slave named Crest might have a more head. We are Moors. We are Moors. Heard what I said? We are Moors. Heard what I said? Heard what I said? Heard what I said? We are Moors.
Standing on the rock, Morocco, here we go, Moabite Mo, Grand Sheik Cujo, let's flow.
Up from the grave, no longer in the state. Colonization claimed my consciousness, but now I'm awake. Broke the chains of being ignorant, I stand on the truth. Competent in my person, rocking the boot. Navigating through the waters in the leanable rights. The 7 seas, all I sent me, so I'm bringing the light. Can't rewind the hands of time, so I'm expanding my space. I'm from one human family, the human race. My pedigree is in my blood, I'm forever a Moor. Asiatic, mobile body, and I'm ready for war. She redeems when I speak, and she is speaking to me. Assisting and helping uplifting fallen humanity. For the record, on the record, neither Negro or black or troglodyte. My people suffering, we only attack. My people perish from true knowledge, we so desperately lack. So why in the hell would I want to go back? No. Can't go back to that being a slave of my mentality. Broke the chains that were bound to me. Listen to me now. Can't go back to that. From on the left to on the right, and the light. Melanated radiation is bright.
Yeah, we don't regress but progress. Crystals back from no stress. With the pheasant not liberate the mind's oppressed. Staring at a wall in a hole, show you a ladder. Which is not a thing you climb, but your 7 chakras. Ask Jacob. 5 up, assalamu alaikum. Left foot first, or standing on the square, take 'em. The opposite of get out black holes into light so marvelous. You get scared from fright. False and light to net appears real, you just might sit there trapped, can't move, just paralyzed. Paralysis that you only get if you sleep. Your heights are so deep, the depths are so deep. Intelligent hoodlums said arrest the presidency. 2 shots for drink champs, Nori knows Drew Ali. Calling Yassin Bey most deaf, you think like the colonists. Even though Nostradamus told you what your problem is.
Can't go back to that being a slave of my mentality. That were bound to me. Listen to me now. I can't go back to that. From on the left to on the right, and the light. Melanated radiation is bright. I can't go back to that being a slave of my mentality. Broke the chains that were bound to me. Listen to me now. Can't go back to that. From on the left to on the right, and the light. Melanated radiation is bright. I rise to give honors to Allah, the Father of the universe, to Noble Drew Ali, to Grand Sheik Cujo Awo Canaanland Moorish, for sharing this mic with me. Temple number 5. To my son, my firstborn, for producing this track. Hassani Mosai, 206, also known as Preach to God. And to DJ Funk Daddy, the best in the West. Washington Republic. And to my Emperor, Islamism.
You sat down and you attacked the master teacher because you thought you heard something that you didn't hear. That's the first violation. You don't come in. First of all, you come in and you act like you come in peace, but you don't. You got an agenda.
Moors are men upright, independent and fearless. Dogmatized dirty Moors, tongues cut out left earless, cause they never listen. Dirty Moors, keep up your slander. Wu-Tang torture in your ass, hot hangers. Kidnap a dirty Moor, torture him like Saw. 3D, 0.5 or 1 through 4. Or get it like 5 or 6 with a fez on jigsaw. Leather face in a turban, rip dirty Moor's lips off. Disrespecting the mother Raz Mariah Bay. Wrap him up like double crochet, the barbed wire way. Throw him off a bridge or feed him to the piranhas. Yellow journalists more spread nothing but propaganda. Idi Amin Bey, treat the temple like Uganda. Dirty Moors like foreigners, crush the dust like ganja. Not worthy of being Moors, we call them 30 in the Jesus. Solomon Seal spell command 72 demons to get you.
This is what the temple guys actually said. That Canaan land is not a part of North America. Canaanland is bigger. Yo, it's ignorance, man. I mean, come on, you're talking about the same land mass. Canaanland is actually bigger than the land mass they know is the corporate United States. Almost twice as big. And if they had any sense, they could just go to Google and they can type in North America and find out North America goes all the way up to Greenland. But they're ignorant. They don't want to do that. They just dealing off emotion.
You might hear hoarse voices, see frog faces, and who's for feet. Demons we run with, spit fire with gold wolf teeth. Keep playing, forget back seats, new mores are an issue. Get Ginsu, maybe a dream visit from Vishnu, a nightmare to never end and always continue. Cold as an igloo, dealing with my trust issues through vigilance. Active mores are militants, SPLC dirty mores, call that sovereign citizen. Lying for views, they notice all the empty pews. Benz need gas and fixing, but not enough dues. Pigpen base sell you out for peanuts, claiming that we nuts for teaching birthright street level, keeping it beat nuts.
To any members of the MSTA that's out there listening to what I'm saying, please get it through your head. I don't have a problem with the MSTA. I got issues with
Teacher Kendrick Lamar, stay surrounded by feathers. Dirt is guilty of fraud if Juali scrutinize their ledgers. Getting proclamations from Morocco, disrespect us. Corporate city only recognize people's court jesters. Hand in their back, Moorish puppets and minions. Never get the human rights recognition like Moors near Virginia. Commonwealth, for active Moors knowledge, the Commonwealth. Dirties claim more, but really on the straw man health. Authenticating a birth certificate, that's not significant. Civil little more two status syndicates in more face. Watch them two more status Indians claiming Turtle Island are lying so intricate.
long days and long nights. But this message needed to be heard.
Islam, Moors, peace and love to all Moors. People stay tripping. Why they tripping? Why they always gotta bring up Moors? Just go in your little whatever corner and just do whatever it is that you do. Just go in your corner. Don't bring up Moors. Don't talk about Moors. Don't talk about Noble Juali. Don't make any reference to any Moors. Don't do anything. Every dirty Moor is an opportunity to just put some stuff up. Every dirty Moor. Every dirty Moor is a tool to be used. Because you're not going to get rid of them. There's not going to never be dirty Moors. So since they're around, we'll make them famous. Since they're around, we'll stay using them as a reference point as what not to expect, what not to give passes to, what not to play, oh yeah, well, because they said something that I agree with, I'm down with them. People are selling you out that look like you. People who don't look like you are selling you out. And it always brings it back to me in the mind. It always brings it back as to why certain people just go underground and say F everybody. I get it. I can see clearly now. So every dirty Moor, they're going to be around because they were supposed to go in the back seat. They didn't go in the back seat. They still want to play front seat and still want to think that they can teach people and whatever when they're incompetent. They're incompetent, and man is mind, but they're incompetent. If man is mind and they're incompetent, then, you know, like one of the Moors said, who listens? Like, how are these people even getting? Like, how are these people even being able to upload something? And then put Moorish history in it with a spin on some negativity to try to get people to gravitate away from their birthright of being Moors. And they're saying about some Moors and some fezzes in Congo sold you out. You not recognizing these dirty Moors right here in front of your face? Like we told you, forget the BS. One fez in the movie, one fez. I'm supposed to be happy about that and give honors to one fez. This is the blockbuster black guy movie, and they have one because you know, this is how Moors think. If they could have one, they could have 50. Right? Indiana Jones, they had 50. Tomb Raider, whatever, had 50. Godfather, whatever, had 1,000 fezzes. But the black guys, they're repping for the culture and all that, whatever, like that, one fez. When they know that that's what it's about right now. But they just put one fez in there. And I'm supposed to be happy as a Moor about that movie. I'm not happy. I'm not impressed. You expect that from the little people. Need we say more? Because look, remember, Fez guys not even paying attention to them black guys walking down the street. They're Black Panther. He's busy doing what he's doing. You don't have time with them. They're BS. Why? Why doesn't he have time? Why? Why is it that the Moor just doing what he does? You know, Moors are any and everything. Doesn't matter. Why? Because sovereignty. Remember, this is their stuff. Why is he just minding his business, doing his own thing? Sovereignty. All right, there's a lot more.
Peace. Everybody doing Islam.
Islam. So sovereignty. Sovereignty. This is lesson book number 14, Moor's Order of the Round Table. Sovereignty is the supreme absolute power by which a free and independent people or state is governed. It is the self-authority of a people, unencumbered by another foreign nation or people. The opposite of sovereignty is slavery and dependence. Now, Moors say we're not sovereign citizens. That's a fact. We've been put it on the record. Anybody trying to say that Moors are sovereign citizens automatically know that they're on a propaganda campaign against the Moors. Period. None to talk about, none to discuss. That's what it is. As soon as they relate Moors the sovereign citizens know for a fact, without a shadow of a doubt, that they're working for the establishment to keep the confusion up as to what Moors are and what Moors are not, and Moors being on terrorists, whatever. As soon as they go there, know that that's what their agenda is, to get you to abandon your birthright, which is your sovereignty, and be a slave or in slavery and dependent. That's the only opposite. If you're not talking some type of sovereignty, you're in slavery. There's no gray area. Incompetent people think there's a gray area. Incompetent people think that when Moors get hemmed up, it's because Moors did something wrong. No, Moors get hemmed up because they're trying to make you not be down with birthrights. Because they know that you're punks. They know that our people are the most passive people on the planet. You do anything to them, and all they do is march and picket. Everybody else do something to them, they sue your ass. With no apology, without prejudice, with prejudice. Do something to Moors, unconscious Moors. Oh. And because it's sovereignty, you have certain inalienable rights. You have those inalienable rights. Sovereignty is the self-sufficient birthright source of political power of a people, not of a nation, of a people. The birthright source of political power comes through a people's sovereignty. Nobody else that says sovereign, do they call them sovereign citizen? Only Moors. Think about that. Think about how many people around the world use the term sovereignty, and nobody ever ties them to sovereign citizens. As soon as Moors say sovereignty, oh, here they come. Because it's a campaign against your birthright. Because the stakes are higher than they've ever been right now. You really think that anything is going to be done with regard to our people having any type of liberation without sovereignty? You're out of your mind. This is why we always have to correct unconscious, dirty Moors. Moriscos, conversos, officers of the court, agents for the state, whatever you want to call them or identify them as, sellouts. They always need to be checked so that they can disappear. We don't even have to do anything. All we have to do is check them, just like the bully. As soon as you check the bully, there's no more bullying going on. As soon as you check the bully, bullying's done. There's no bullying after you check the bully. Right? So these individuals that play this, they're exposing the Moors as, you know, European lovers or enslavers of black people or whatever they want to trump up. Whatever they want to trump up. Anything, you name it. Once it's against Moors, know that those people are working for the other side. Don't even think a second time about, well, I wonder if, don't go there. As soon as they talk against Moors. So, for example, people said in their video, all capital letters means corporation. All right, so we're talking about Darkman X, and then you can see it's written in all capital letters, which means that it's a corporation. It's not the person, the natural being, the living, breathing, whatever the BS that those Aboriginal, no nationality black guys talk about. Whatever it is that they say that they are. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the corporation Darkman X, because Darkman, as you can see right there, it's written in all capital letters, which the competent teacher who's not the sharpest knife in the drawer, according to himself, but he's not dull. Now, if you're going to be a knife in a drawer, it would probably make sense to be sharp. It's hypocrisy for somebody to do a 2-hour video proving something wrong against Moors, but they're not the sharpest tool, or they're not the sharpest knife in the drawer. They're kind of sharp. A kind of sharp guy is schooling people on law and history. Playing around with people. Using people's mind as a playground and swinging the feet, trying to go over the thing without falling out the seat. And you know what's crazy? Somebody in the chat said butter knife. Not even butter knife. Just a dull knife. Because a butter knife, you can still cut something with that.
You can still cut something with the butter knife. Exactly.
Right? We're talking about a dull knife. According to this individual themselves. Stateless people. Oh yeah, for the record, Kudro Adwo L, just so we can put status on the record. Right, since that's the first issue. Because stateless people, especially stateless people called Darkman and called X's and stuff like that, they really don't have any rights to waive.
Exactly.
This is why in the video, right, they're claiming that they got rights. Claiming that they got rights. I do not waive any of my rights at any time. I do not consent to my content, whether image, written, voice, or visual, to be used in any way without explicit permission and consent. Okay, but if you didn't waive your rights, then why would you spell waive, W-A-V-E, and not how it's supposed to be spelled? So you waived your rights. So we could do, that's why we could do this. And we can say it's a corporation name because ain't no rights having anything to do with the corporation around here. A corporation put out a video talking BS about Moors, and we're just correcting the errors that was put out by this corporation. Because again, if you did not waive your rights, then why would you spell waive, W-A-V-E, if you didn't waive your rights? Which shows that you're incompetent and you shouldn't even be talking about rights.
Incompetent.
And again, this is to show people no different than if you look at all the other so-called Aboriginal, Indigenous, Moor haters out there. People call themselves European names and trying to tell you that they're there to make you think when they're incompetent. How's an incompetent individual gonna make somebody think. And again, this is not a versus or something like that. This is using people who claim that they know something to really show you what they don't know so you could make these people disappear. That they're non-existent so that the people could really put energy and focus on what they're supposed to be focusing on with regard to their liberation. Always remember, whether incompetent or competent, ignorance is no excuse. Not knowing is not an excuse. So we're going to make sure that you know. So you can't say that you don't know. And you're not going to say you don't know because Kudro said or Supreme said or whoever said. It's not because somebody said. Because we gave you a reference point so you can fact check everything that we say. To see how real that this is, that why we wear fezzes. Even though people call it KFC hat, bucket hat and all that, we still wear it. With the KFC logo on there and everything, who cares? It's still a fez.
Right.
You're not going to make me get out of my birthright over some BS that has no grounding in history or law. It's all just emotion. Mad black guys who heard from Henry Louis Gates that they're indigenous because black mama in the closet, and now they're running around and they're some indigenous whatever.
Right. Craziness.
Right? So again, this is the corporation. And again, because whites' rights were waived by not spelling wave properly, your whole claim is void. But because the claim is void, we're doing what we're doing. Because fair use notice and all that BS means nothing at this point. So we could use all this stuff because you can't even spell wave.
Right.
So we shall more just let me know how the sound is with this right here.
Peace and love, everyone. Peace and love. I'd like to say this is fair use. Fair use, everyone. This is fair use. We're just going to get right to it. All right. I'm just going to be playing probably like about 4 minutes of this this video. Then we're going to cut to the next. I want to point out deception. All right. When you're being deceived with verbiage, with language. Okay. And because I'm not familiar with reading contracts, and this is why I'm happy that I've been sitting down and also learn how to read these things. Okay, now
you take all this time to learn and read, but he never looked up wave.
Right.
He's talking about contracts and fair use notice or whatever, and he never even looked up wave. What does that tell you? That's like 48 seconds in. 48 seconds. Do not be fooled by these imposter scholars out here. These people out here, they don't go to libraries. They don't have books piling up on the floor at their house and stuff like that. They go online and research. That's not research.
Yes.
You're not researching if you're not going into books. You're not researching if you're not going and looking up some microfilm or newspaper articles or whatever. You're just playing a game. You're just fronting. Do not be fooled by these fronting people because of views numbers or because of subscription numbers. Don't be fooled by that. This is about learning. Listen to how individuals are talking, right? If you really sit back and you get rid of the emotion, all these Aboriginal, Indigenous, whoever guys, they talk just like Moors. They just don't say that they're Moors, which is what makes them intriguing to people who have no better perspective. Because really, Moors always said that we are the Aboriginal and Indigenous people. Moors have always said that. So how is it that some Johnny-come-lately identity people could try to convince our people that they know what's up? When before they came around, Moors were saying they're Aboriginal and Indigenous. Oh, you don't think so? Just go get the Journal of the Moorish Paradigm by Hakeem Bey. All 13 issues. And you tell me if Moors aren't saying that we're the Aboriginal Indigenous people. Remember, Hakeem Bey is before YouTube. Again, we're talking about books, which means research. And when you research the researcher, he should be researchable. Bet you can't find nothing on Darkman X, whoever the hell he is. Nothing. You ain't find no info. They're giving you pseudo names and all of that. And they're calling themselves Greek alphabets and all of that. And you're talking about their more means black. You're calling yourself Greek alphabet? It is very clear to those with eyes wide open. And Noble Ali made it clear. There's only going to be a handful saved. And I have fingers left over. So we already know that only one of you is going to get it. But we also know that there's thousands of dirty Moors out there trying to get that one. Trying to get you to take the position that they're taking of identifying with everything but Moors. And if you do identify with Moors, you're identifying it from some religious perspective, and this has nothing to do with nationality and rights or nothing like that. This is what you're up against. When you're talking about learning, acquiring knowledge from sources in this age. Because remember, when we came up, there was no scum people to really learn from. When you go check the record of all the books in Moors libraries, minus Europeans, we're talking about black books. Because the sellouts didn't really put out info. Everything that came out from the sellouts was from their handlers. When we go back and we check that we study from Dr. Ben, and he had doctorate in Moorish history and all that, and we never even paid attention to that. All these years we're studying from him. But again, when you research the researcher, you find stuff out. Nobody researched the researcher. And if they did research research the researcher, and they saw that he went to Moorish, whatever, they didn't even pay that any mind. They conveniently just went over to the black stuff and stayed there, the African and the Al-Kibulan and all that. Pay no attention to the Moorish part. And then that became a theme in the conscious whatever, to leave the Moors out. And the only time you're going to talk about them is when they had some concubines that were Europeans or when they enslaved black people. Other than that, we don't hear nothing about the Moors. That's a campaign. Because it works so well that people are doing that now, not even knowing that that's what they're doing. They're thinking they're teaching their people something.
I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I'm not. And I always say that because, folks, if you don't at least understand the basics of what it is that you are reading or things that you are looking into or organizations that you are a part of, you will be ran amok on. You will be taken advantage of greatly and deeply misled. And this is why I say you can't forgive and purposely leave. They know what it is that they do.
Now, that's coming directly. That's coming directly from misunderstandings of the Moorish movement and Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali by Taj Tariq Bey.
Yes. Agreed.
What he just said is coming exactly from that, just like that. Without bringing up Noble Drew Ali and Moors and dirty Moors and all that. You just think he's talking about some people out here who's trying to play you. He's one of those people. Because again, he's one of the agents positioned to keep you away from your birthrights. Keeping you away from your birthrights. Not drawing you toward your birthright. Keeping you away from your birthright. Remember, a minute 28 in. A minute 28 in and the whole gig is up.
A minute and a half. Man, a minute and a half. That's it. Wow.
Hasn't even gone on the record and showed the lies yet.
Crazy. He showed incompetence within a minute and a half.
A minute and a half. As soon as you see incompetence at that interval, you should already know.
Indeed.
But like the Moor was talking about last night in when we had our Canaanland build, that a lot of the information that's put out is to brainwash our people, because our people have no reference points. So they're taking in things without having a reference point as to, you know, how can I verify this? Because all these Moor hater people never use books. Everything they use is an online whatever, or some PowerPoint stuff that they made. They don't give you page numbers and book titles. Never, ever. They always do their screen share and show you some online BS. which that's not really factual. These people talk just like Moors, but don't want to claim the sovereignty, which means that they're in slavery. And if they're in slavery and they're teaching you, what are they teaching you other than how to be in slavery too? And remember, we're talking about mental, because man is mind. We're talking about brainwashing. We're not talking about some physical thing somebody's doing. We're talking about the people's mind being under attack by external forces that aren't even present. They have others doing it for them.
Okay? They're trying to take you away from being the I am. They're trying to take you outside of yourself. They're trying to take inheritance away from you. And we're going to break this down of what this dude is reading. And we're going to break it down because they're very misleading with words. We're going to show and prove, all right, that they are very misleading. Now, this is coming from Moorish American 720. That's the channel that this is coming from.
You want to say Islam to Moorish American 720. If you haven't been to their YouTube page, if you want to go watch some videos about something worth watching, and you want the, switching scenes and the moving stuff because you guys are just programmed to, that's what you learn from, go to Moorish American 720. Some of their stuff. Because what are they doing? Giving you reference points. I was giving you some guys talking just because they want to talk. They're giving you reference points. Why are they giving you reference points? Because they're Moorish American. And Moorish American don't play. We're competent and our people have to be incompetent and they could just stay there and it's cool. No, every chance we get, we're correcting you if you come with some BS. Especially if we know that you should know better. You claim you study, you claim you know yourself. So how are you talking crazy? You know yourself. How do you know yourself where you're talking against part of your ancestral lineage that you should know? You hear Morris talking about we don't know the ancient Egyptians. Oh, that's not our people. That's not us. Well, we know that those are Moors. They're North African. What are you talking about? Yeah. It might be east, but it's in the north. Which means that Egyptians are North Africans. Now, we also know that that's the foundation of the Hebrews. They're Egyptian. And Moses was an Egyptian. What are you talking about? That you're not North Africans. You're not Moors? When all your ancestors are Moors? But you guys aren't Moors. You guys are anything but Moors. And again, when Moors speak up for the facts and the truth, nobody wants to be down with it. Because they have been so programmed to not want to be Moors, be everything else but Moors. When that's where the sovereignty lies. Because every other thing else that you're claiming is pre-Moors, which means they're definitely not in existence today. All the stuff that people are claiming, better you claim you don't want to be Moors, go be Nigerian. Go be Ghanaian. Go be whatever. Go be Brazilian, Chilean. Go be that if you don't want to be Moors. But no, you're not even going to go do that. And again, remember that this is only in the jurisdiction of North America where people are straight incompetent. Like they're so incompetent that they have their own nails that they can grow, but they're going to go get nails. We're not talking about intelligent people who do that. We're talking about incompetent people who they don't even have food in the fridge, but they have $500 phone, $1,000 phone, $800 sneakers. And trust me, I know, because I'm the one that their children are coming to when they don't have lunch at school because their mom didn't pack their lunch. I'm the one that they come to. So trust me, I know. And I seen the moms come to the school and stuff like that too. I know you got the #1 retro J's. Stop playing. Massive, sell out on massive level. And only you are going to save yourself. Only you are going to save yourself. And we told you, go to Moorish American 720, go watch their stuff. If you want to know something, if you like the jumpy videos, go there. Watch all their stuff. And then you tell me if you're not Moors. If you watch all their stuff and you still come to me that you're not Moors, then we get it. Sometime this is people's first time here. So they really don't know the rules of the game or whatever. So they still have to get played some more before they realize what's up. It's cool. But those on the other levels that know that as soon as I'm out of here, it's never coming back here. We'll see you on the next side. And then we'll get the work done there. It's like Drew Ali said, I ain't doing nothing here. I'm going to go to the soul plane so I can get more work done.
Yes.
Remember, there's always work to do. Islam to the more who's on the other side of the planet or whatever. That just happened to bump into this video. Right. Just happened to bump into this video. And said, hey, how come these guys are like, you already know more. You already know. So we give thanks for bringing it to the attention. So our reflection on this can move the ethers to reveal things to our people, to assist them out of the truth and falsehood strangely mixed. Because falsehood does not have to be there. Falsehood is there because of incompetence. If you eliminate ignorance, all you have is truth.
Okay. America is Morocco on paper, the hidden Moorish Empire. That's the title of the video. Okay, and he ended it with a question sign. The hidden Moorish Empire. Again, until they show them hardcore proof, I'm not buying none of this Moorish bullshit. And we're going to get to it. Because, again, our ancestors never called themselves that.
Right. Now, again, all these people are going to say that they rep Dr. Ben. If anybody taught them anything about being conscious or whatever, Dr. Ben did. But how come Dr. Ben didn't say that the Europeans called us Moors? How come Dr. Ben didn't teach that the pale man or the white man called us Moors? How come Dr. Ben taught that we called ourselves Moors? If Dr. Ben is a world-renowned scholar that's debated all these Europeans, debated Asiatics, did lectures, wrote books, and told us that we were calling ourselves Moors, why aren't we going to listen to him? Why aren't we going to take that as that's what it is, just because it came from him, the guy that we rep? This is not an outsider saying this. This is him out of his own mouth, in his own voice, letting his people know that we, Moors, were calling ourselves Moors. Like, just throw the master teacher under the bus and you're just cool with it? You're just cool with it. Somebody slap your mom, you're just cool with it.
Right.
Oh, that's cool. It ain't nothing. I'll get them back later. We're telling you that it is a campaign. All the master teachers, you name them, they told us about Moors. We told you, go get the Taj Tariq Bey, Kaba Kamene, and James Smalls, the lecture put out by Sabir Bey, to hear all of them talking in favor of the Moors. Forget about are they Moors, did they say that they're Moors, whatever. No, all of them, we're talking pro-Moors. Nobody's talking negative. Doesn't that say something? They'll let you know that the shift has happened if the master teachers are on it now. All these occult metaphysics, whatever. They rep Bobby Hemmett. They rep him.
Right.
They rep him. Made altars and all that type of stuff just because he put them onto something. Well, he learned from C. Freeman L. So how's his master teacher a Moor and you're just stuck on who you think is the master teacher? And then remember, master teacher who was a Moor had information out at the same time as Hammett doing lectures. But you're not going to go check his master teacher? The master teacher's master teacher, you're not going to use him as a reference. You're just going to stick with the master teacher. That's hypocrisy. That's some favoritism BS. That's like Noble Drew Ali coming out and saying, we honor all true divine prophets, Jesus, and that's it. Begging for proof, begging for facts. But when it's in their face, like the master teacher said, Tariq Bey, just put it on the tip of your nose. You won't be finding that. It's like with all the glasses people. How much times you lost your glasses on your head? Went rushed out, went and bought glasses. Glasses on your head the whole time. People are looking at people looking at you crazy. You're coming to buy glasses on your head. And you know you can't get refund on no glasses. Right? Playing with you. Don't let them play with you. This is your birthrights we're talking about. This is not just some info. Oh yeah, we're some Moors and we just want to put out some info because we have some information about it. This is your birthright that we're putting out. We're letting you know how vast your birthright is. You're not limited to some African continent only. As that's your home, that's it? Nah. The globe.
If they did, it's not in the terms of how these folks are trying to make it seem as if some nation or nationality. That's bullshit. Definite. But anyway, let's get into it.
From the House of Representatives, the 59th Congress, second session, Citizenship of the United States, Expatriation, and Protection Abroad. Letter from the Secretary of State, submitting report on the subject of citizenship, expatriation, and the protection abroad. Page 459, section Morocco. Morocco. Sir, there are strictly speaking Moroccan laws relating to the citizenship of Moorish subjects in Morocco. The fundamental laws of this non-Christian country are based entirely upon the Islamic code, no part of which treats of the subject of citizenship. Page 460. There are, however, numerous treaties and conventions between the various Christian countries and the Moorish Empire, by means of which citizenship in this country is defined. But as I understand from the above acknowledged instructions, that it is not the desire of all for it.
All right, so let's get into something. A nation and the country is not the same thing, right? So a nation, supposedly in the social means, is supposed to be, say, all these states combined together to come together as one, that make a nation, right? Now, if there wasn't such thing as nation and states, then each state that we know of right now would be considered a country on its own. As a matter of fact, back in the days, each state was a country.
No. Remember you started saying that countries and nations aren't the same. But then saying, as a matter of fact, because remember that if you are not grounded in nationality and you start doing like these people, thinking that you can get in this information, what's going to happen is that you're going to have gaps in your concepts. So what happened to him is that something hit him after the fact that he was presenting as a fact, which really wasn't a fact. Right? So to throw in the matter of fact, in the olden days, nations were called countries. That's a European concept. His matter of fact is based on European psychology. Because that whole concept is no different than British India Company, which the European state became a country.
That's right.
but it's really a corporate country. It wasn't really a country on the land. Now, when we go to Black's Law Dictionary, since they like to look stuff up and they like to claim they know stuff, we look up country, page 421. Country, the portion of the Earth's surface occupied by an independent nation or people, or the inhabitants of such territory. So you can't have a country without an independent nation or independent people or inhabitants of that territory. All that took was to look up country. And then if you have country, then you have to have continent. Now, the reference point that's being used is, again, documented in hard copy that these so-called pilgrims, colonists, Europeans, foreigners know about who the Moors are. They know about Moorish. They know about Moorish Empire. They know about Islamic codes. They know about treaties. So if you move with the idea that those things have no weight in law or history, that, oh, we don't even need to deal with that because those were the slave traders of the whatever. You just acknowledged incompetence to whoever you're dealing with. And because you acknowledge, or because you exercise from a place of incompetence, now you can be violated. The difference is, with Moors, we would use your violation to teach you. We wouldn't hold it against you. Because we know that our people are under mental slavery. Our prophet taught us that, and he's been teaching that since the 1920s.
Yes, yes, indeed.
That our people are under mental slavery. And whenever you want to jump in more, right?
No, just, do your thing. I'm just waiting to hear certain parts that I've been listening to on him today. I've seen that crap.
Right. You have timestamps of the parts where you're talking about?
Well, I got this one in particular that's about to come right up.
All right.
That's five and some change. So
they weren't called states. And to this very day, unknown to you, they're still considered countries, which is why each state, look it up, each state has its own constitution. And I bet you they have you got so on the states constitution that you didn't even read the constitution in the very state that you reside in right now. Each state is a country. That is why when you go from state to state, or you're going to move from one state to the next, you have to register or sign over or trade in your driver's license for that state's driver's license. This is what they used to do back in the day. And even Sister Phoenix Moon broke this down so eloquently to y'all. Okay? Verbiage, people. Watch how they use their words. These dudes are, I call them warlocks. They're spellcasters, magicians, right? But they spellcasters with words.
Now, again, for people who don't know, pre-Darkman X, that's how Moors talk about these Europeans that are in possession of their birthright. And we don't just say out of our mouth, oh, these guys are warlocks. No, we show you. Because you can go, you can get Moors and Masonry by Brother Abdullah El Talib Mozi Bey. That'll break it down to you how these people are warlocks and stealing your stuff. That's pre-Darkman X. You can go to Nigger Industry by Taj Tariq Bey. You can get that at rvbaypublications.com, breaking down this vampiric entity that is sucking the lifeblood of the people who think that they're something other than Moors. And then because they don't bother Moors, because they know better, people think that, oh yeah, Moors are working with the European. No, they ain't working with nobody. They know that they don't got no jurisdiction over Moors. That's why they don't bother Moors. And again, if they do bother Moors, they only bother them. They only bother them because they know they have to put up the appearance of defeating the Moors. But they can't defeat the Moors. Islam more.
Yeah, and to also add to that, you can tell that he's dirty right there when he's just recognizing the state constitution, not the organic constitution. He just want to rep the state's individual constitution, which has no real bearing to the organic constitution.
Right.
We the people.
Yep.
Okay? This is a part of that Moorish science that they be hitting you with, and you guys don't even know it. Casting spells on you to your face. Okay? So let this finish play. When he's saying a country, he's not talking about the nation. When he says a country, he's not talking about the continent. He said a country. And remember, in their teachings, they try to say that North, South, Central, and including the West Indies is Morocco. They said America is Morocco. Now this looks like they're stepping away.
Is that your part there, Mar?
No, but that's still silly of him too. no, but that's still silly of old boy too. Like you can tell, like he has no education, Mark. Like
zero.
He just,
zero.
He plucking feathers.
Yeah, just somebody out here wanting to be famous. Right? Wanting to be famous.
He gonna get famous, right?
Oh, most definitely.
Keep messing with the Moors.
From it being Morocco and trying to classify it as now. Tricky with their teachings. You see, when a lie starts to unravel, a person scrambles to change the lie. They scramble to change the narrative of the story because the lies are unraveling. Okay, but they're not doing a very good job. Let's go, because I bet you he think he did something with this was the citizenship of the United States. What expatriation? All right, so let's go.
What? You sound like you want to say ex-penetration. What does it mean? He said ex what? I think you was trying to say expatriation. Is that what you was trying to say? Oh, okay. Now, that's just total incompetence because you hear the brother tell you in the video who's giving you from 720, giving you the information.
Telling you the word. Telling you the word. Right?
You don't remember that back that far. It wasn't even that long ago you heard it.
No, but not only that, it's sitting right there. Just do like, everybody knows, that you just break it down in syllables. Right? Exactly. And again, people who are not versed in law would, have issues reading law terms, right? But that's why you should shut the F up.
I was going to say
Why even say anything? Why even, you know what I mean? And again, they can bring up anything in the citizenship of the United States, expatriation, and talk about it, but they have to bring up the part talking about the Moors. They have to bring up the talk dealing with Morocco. They have to bring up the stuff dealing with Moorish Empire and Moorish subjects, right? Without even really giving it any justice. Because he's looking at this as some type of European and Moorish whatever, when it includes him. He's a Moor. He's not exempt from this because he thinks that he's Darkman X. He assumes he's Darkman X. Either you're specific or you're vague. When you're vague, you don't want to be vague with these Europeans. Because they're specific. They tell you, nigga, we're gonna put you on that tree. They don't lie. They tell you to your face. And they tell you to your face when it comes to the negative and the positive. Because either way they look at it, you know what I mean? Karma getting them regardless. They don't have an escape route. Either you're under the jurisdiction of the Moors or the world is going to be attacking you. Like, which one do you want? Pick one. Because again, there ain't no gray area times right now. Either you're specific or you're vague. If you're vague, you're going to get run over.
In fact, let's back it up a little bit and then let him finish.
Report on the subject of citizenship, expatriation, and the protection abroad. Page 459. Section Morocco. Morocco. Sir, there are strictly speaking no Moroccan laws relating to the citizenship of Moorish subjects in Morocco. The fundamental laws of this non-Christian country are based entirely upon the Islamic part which treats of the subject of citizenship. Page 460. There are, however, numerous treaties and conventions between the various Christian countries and the Moorish Empire, by means of which citizenship in this country is defined. But as I understand from the above acknowledged instructions, that it is not the desire of the department.
Now, mind you, in an empire still don't mean the entire land mass, okay? Genghis Khan had an empire, but he never conquered Russia.
We're not talking about Genghis Khan right now. We're talking about citizenship in Morocco. Now, why would citizenship of the United States be talking about Morocco somewhere else? Why would the Sultan tell Europeans that they can find safe haven in the Americas when, according to them, the Sultan's jurisdiction is only in Morocco in Africa? Like, why didn't he send them somewhere in Africa to have a home? It has to be because his jurisdiction extended over here. There's no other reason that some Europeans would ask Morocco to stay in America if America is not Morocco. And again, as we study law and history together, we realize these correlations. We realize that if we only use one of the jurisdictions at a time, namely law or history, then we're going to have a warped perspective. Our perspective is going to be warped. There is documented facts that we're reading. There is documented facts in Brother Abdullah's book, Moors and Masonry. There's books that you can read. Think about this one. Think about this one. Let's put this one out there. Let's put this one out.
Wow. All right. Let me show you something. So I'm reading this book, and it just so happens that while this conversation is going on, now mind you, this is Our Islands and Their People, a book from 1899, for what people are going to make of this. But to show you this, where is it?
No. What we have is this. The Sultan says he is an American citizen. From the book Our Islands and the People, 1800s. Now, why would, if over here is not Morocco and has nothing to do with Morocco, why would the Sultan be a citizen of over here? Wouldn't that mean that there's a connection between American and Moroccan? If the Sultan is saying he's an American citizen.
Is it?
In Islam, to Brother Casanova Bay, by the way. The Sultan says he's an American citizen.
That's deep right there, see? That's really deep and telling right there.
And if you want to check it, you could just go on his YouTube page. This was uploaded 2013. Where was Darkman X in 2013? When Brother Casanova Bay put up on his YouTube page Sultan said he is an American citizen. Just look it up yourself. It only has 362 views in 5 years. That's how much people want to know about their birthrights and want to understand what is going on in the Americas. 362 people, merely 362 people in 5 years reference the documented fact that the Sultan is an American citizen, which shuts the hell up the great deception of Darkman X about the Moors. Shuts it up. But again, we're using this to show you incompetence and to correct these fools if they want to be corrected. If not, then this would just stand as fact that he's incompetent. Because you can't tell me anything about Morocco and United States and America and all that. You can't bring up any of that if your claim's not credible. And clearly your claim's not credible. Clearly your claim is based in, once again, the campaign against the Moors. Blatant campaign against the Moors. Right? Not somebody said, the Sultan says he's an American citizen. How could the Sultan be an American citizen if, according to y'all, his jurisdiction is only Morocco in North Africa across the Atlantic Ocean? Who are you going to go with? The Sultan, or are you going to go with these clowns who don't study? Who are you going to listen to? Who are you going to listen to? People out there? Hey, people out there? Who are you going to listen to? The Sultan? Who's the ruler? Or are you going to listen to some YouTube clowns? Who can't read and waves their rights, W-A-V-E, waves goodbye to their rights, waving goodbye to their rights like good Negroes.
That's funny as hell.
Somebody put it in the chat. They put the wave hand in the chat. Wave your rights. Right? Really clowns, bro. And what are we in? And again, right? We're telling you about incompetence, but we're 8 minutes in. This is a 2-hour thing that he did. This is a 2-hour thing. And 8 minutes in, you can see that this is a fraud. Let's see how much more of a fraud this is, because we have half hour, right? Half hour to break down 8 minutes.
Right.
Half hour left. Half hour left. And we've only gone 8 minutes. Because there's so much folly. There's so much abuse and violation of intellect going on.
Yes.
And Russia's the same land mass. All right? Just so that you guys know. But anyway, let him keep going.
To call for a report upon such lines, I will therefore confine these remarks to general conditions existing, which may possibly be of some use in connection with the information desired. Section 1. Citizenship in Morocco may be said to be governed by the laws pertaining to the same in other countries, with the exception that all persons residing in Morocco who cannot prove foreign.
Did you hear what he said? Let's go back. Fine. the standing from the acknowledgement and desire of the Department of. Let's see. Lost. Let me just find it back real quick. So country's expectations at all. Boom. Here we go. All right. Now again, they taught you this, right? They taught you this. Now it says citizenship in Morocco may be said to be governed by the laws pertaining to the same other countries. They're talking about what they now call states, the surrounding states, right? With the exception that all persons residing in Morocco who foreign citizenship, who cannot prove foreign citizenship or protection are considered as Moorish subjects. I'm showing you what these friggers are going to do.
We're going to show you what these friggers are trying to do. We're going to show you these incompetent scholars.
Wait a minute.
Jury. Ipso jury. Only one E there, but it's jury.
What dirty, muddy rock do these guys be coming on?
Man, I don't know what rock they come under. I don't know what cereal box these roaches come from out of. I don't know yet. I don't know. Because all I did was I just opened the cereal and just the roach just ran out.
It's crazy.
You know what I mean? And it wasn't even my cereal. Omar was showing me. Look at this roach right here. Right. Now let's reread. Let's reread the part again and put it in proper perspective. Right. Citizenship in Morocco may be said to be governed by the laws pertaining to the same in other countries that he's saying is states. So let's go with that. Okay. With the exception also, so accept this. Right? Citizenship in Morocco may be said to be governed by laws pertaining to the same in other countries, with the exception that all persons, which he's saying, oh, they teach that persons are corporations. All right, cool. So persons are corporations residing in Morocco who cannot prove foreign citizenship or protection are considered ipso jure as Moorish subjects. Now, by them being Moorish subjects, just because they're in Morocco would mean that their person's status was now lifted. Because if they can't prove that they're from anywhere, then you're pertaining to the Moors. You're a Moorish subject. You're not a Moorish national. You're not a Moorish citizen, but you're definitely not a person. Once you're in Morocco. But why? Because Morocco is the Moorish Empire, which Noble Drew Ali taught the Moors extended from northeast, southwest Africa, across the Great Atlantis, to the present North, South, Central America, and the adjoining islands. So North America is Morocco, and so is South America, and so is Central America, according to the teachings. And anybody who cannot prove foreign citizenship, if you're a person, if you're stateless, if nobody knows who you are, if you're just a dinghy in the middle of the ocean with no flag, then you're a Moorish subject once you're in Morocco. Which means now you have protection under the Moors, who are what? The landlords. And remember, like we said in the beginning, anytime you hear Moors, especially Moors of this era, speak of Moorish nationality, it is always synonymous with Aboriginal and Indigenous, autochthonous, whatever other BS they want to say they are, but not Moors. It is always attached to that when Moors teach. Moors don't teach that we're black Indians like these people. Moors don't teach that we're tribes. Moors teach that we're a nation. That our nation is broken down into jural societies, body politics, or what they would call states. And our states are Asiatic, not European. And anybody who cannot prove foreign citizenship or protection are considered ipso jure Moorish subjects.
Go back to the word persons, right? So we're going to type in persons in the law dictionary, because you guys got to see what it is that they are doing to you. I'm typing persons in the law dictionary.
Now, keep this in mind. While he's typing persons in the law dictionary, and he goes on the law dictionary screen at 10:18, what's showing is the definition of Moor. Now, let's read the definition of Moor in the law dictionary. Since they say Moor means black, and then dictionaries are where you get definitions, so let's see if Moor means black in the law dictionary. Moor, an officer in the Isle of Man who summons the courts for the several sheddings. The officer is similar to the English bailiff of 100. You hear anything about Moor means black in there?
Wow.
Anything about Moor means black?
No, I didn't.
Oh, neither did I. But if a Moor is the one who summons the courts, okay, let's just see what summons is, because this might be misleading if we don't put out summons.
That's right. Do what you do, shit. That's right.
Right.
There it is.
Yeah, just so we could be clear as what the hell are they talking about? Right.
This is what he should have been doing. He should have been cross-referencing himself.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
just going off the wing.
Right, and remember that he wasn't even going to this. This is just the dictionary page that he's using. But obviously, he looked up more. And it wasn't in harmony with his propaganda campaign, so he couldn't use that as a reference. Right? Summon. To serve a summons. To cite a defendant to appear in court to answer a suit which has begun against him. To notify the defendant that an action has been instituted against him and that he is required to answer to it at a time and place named. So it appears like the Moor is the one who serves the summons. Now, if he, the Moor, summons the courts, and that office is similar to a bailiff of 100, now Moors know why they don't like you in their courts. Now we know that those are administrative buildings.
You got that power. That's what they're saying. You got that power, boy. You got that juice.
You don't want that? You're going to abandon that to be some Aboriginal, Indigenous, whatever?
Right.
You're going to abandon the one who summons the court.
Please say it again one more time.
You're going to abandon being the one who summons the court.
I love the sound of that.
It is definitely wake-up time, but as we know,
that's authority. That's power and authority.
As we know, our people don't want the responsibility of the power of a Moor. They want black power. Because no responsibility there. You can just march up and down the street and there ain't nothing. You can yell, kill, and whisper crackers. You could do nothing while everything happens to you. But as soon as you start talking about you're more, and you start talking about rights, and you start talking about certain things, you better be in your proper person. You better not just be talking stuff out of your mouth, thinking that you're saying something for some views. Go ahead, Moore. You were going to say something? Oh. You might be muted or they disconnect. Islam more. There's something definitely going on. Oh, Islam. Yeah. You got about 15 minutes left.
No worries, because you know I got something coming out the oven on this dark burnt biscuit too. So no you already know I had him see it already.
Let's see.
See, that's what you do when you're done.
PERS.
Yep.
Boom. Persons in law dictionary equals artificial persons. Persons created and devised by human laws for the purpose of society and government as distinguished from persons. Corporations are examples of artificial persons. Persons mean that you are not living. Persons mean that you are not real. Or corporate property. They give you a straw man name because that straw man, that all capital letters name, you are a corporation subject to Morocco. You are subject, is what he's saying, and you are a person's means that you are property of Morocco.
Now, if Morocco is mother, if Morocco is the nation, why wouldn't you want to be property of that? Because remember, we're not talking about some kingdom. In Morocco, as the Aboriginal and Indigenous Moor, you have a right to self-sufficiency and to govern yourself. You have a right to self-determination. Not something given to us by some European or something given to us by some kingdom. That came after us. This is our birthright. So to use these definitions and like Moors are off with our perspective is very disingenuous. And it shows the level of corruption that people are willing to go to keep you deaf, dumb, and blind.
Yes.
That they have a drive to keep the people deaf, dumb, and blind. Like they are driven to do that. The question is, what drives them? Because I'm starting to really think that, you know, forget dirty Moors, some of these people are definitely disagreeable entities.
Oh yeah, definitely. Pardon me. The prophet said he's gonna let the evil spirits down, bro.
Yo, you know, these are spirits fighting to stay in existence.
Exactly. Some like being a bastard child. You know what I'm saying?
But are they looking in the right places? Are they looking at the people who are credible, or are they looking at the people who are incredible or uncredible or non-credible?
Exactly.
Are they seeing with their eyes open, or are they seeing with their eye closed?
Back to your eyes wide shut.
Eyes wide shut. And one more thing, because you brought up Moorish Science Temple. Let's go there quick fast.
Book 1, this copy. Page 579, State of Illinois, Cook County. Okay. Corporation Religious Affidavit of Organization, State of Illinois, Cook of County. Okay. Cook of County is also a corporation. Okay. 19 August 1st, p.m. 2:52 p.m. and recorded in Book Jawan. Payali, where that at meeting of the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America, and mind you, the Moorish Science Temple of America is written in all capitals.
Because it's a corporation. So why wouldn't it be written?
Wait a minute, my man, you can not only read letters, you can't even read numbers. What the hell? You can't read not only you can't read letters, you can't even read numbers. Good God, these dirty Moors, man. God.
They go hard. They go hard for the lies. They go hard.
Right? All capitals a straw man, or all capitals mean a corporation. Okay? Or when anything is written in all capitals, it's a corporate entity. is a corporation. The Moorish Temple of America. You don't believe me? There we go, right there, written in caps. Written in caps. Held at Chicago in the county of Cook and the state of Illinois of the 20th day of July, A.D., right? Because it is AD. It was A.D. I think it's for the purpose, the following persons. Now again, persons. See, y'all got to pay attention to these words. Persons. Now let's pull up back again for you guys to refresh your memory what persons mean. What persons mean by law. I still have it right here. Search results for persons. Artificial person. Person created and devised by human laws for the purpose of society and government as distinguished from natural persons. Corporations are examples of artificial persons. Persons is an artificial entity. Meaning it's a corporation, it is property, it has no rights. Property don't have no goddamn rights. Okay? No goddamn rights. Let's go back. Let's go back. Let's go back. Temple, Science of Rules. Here we go. AD 1928 for the purpose. For that purpose, the following persons were appointed sheiks, which is in all caps, of the Moorish Science Temple of America, right? Which is in all caps, according to the rules and usage of such Mealy L. Small Bay, Lovett Bay, and Foreman Bay. All capital letters, their names.
And again, it's a corporation. And again, it's under the jurisdiction of a lawyer sealing it, because it's going to be filed in that jurisdiction. But that doesn't mean that the activity is corporate. This is how you know that Noble Drew Ali was the mastermind, because again, when you read this affidavit that he's showing to say there's a great deception, Moors are lying to you and everything's a corporation, it tells you to go to Herzervite Statute, chapter 32, section 36. And when you go there, you find out that this document is really a corporate set up a juror society. And anybody using it from the perspective that it's a corporation is actually playing themselves. Because this is nation building. This is not corporate activity. When you say Noble Drew Ali or Moorish Science Temple of America or Science or Moorish Divine National Movement, you're not talking about some religious corporate activity. That's a front. This is really civic activity and constitutional enforcement. And it's also astrology. Hence, Zodiac coming in and other people like CMB who carried the torch further. Just because of people like this who had misconceptions of what was presented to them by the noble prophet, and they chose to abandon instead of studying to know what's what. So it's a documented fact, Moors, that the great deception of the Moors is really the unconscious Moors deceiving people.
That's right. That's right.
The great deception of the Moors is the people who choose to be everything but Moors to get the people not to be Moors. You have anything in closing, Moore?
No, I'm gonna have something ready for the people in the morning, but if you close, I just want to give thanks to the people in the chat, Moors in the chat, and Moors worldwide, and just stay steady, Moors. Don't just fall for the okie doke. Trust me, just don't fall for the bull crap.
Straight up.
I want to give thanks to this brother. I definitely want to give thanks to you, Sheik, because you're a great teacher, Moore. I love coming to class, and like I said, I love helping you clean these dirties up, because that's what we do.
You know, and again, this ain't for Moors who study. This is for people coming into this. So Islam to the Moors who study, Islam to the Moors who know about their nationality and birthrights, Islam to everybody who is willing to and wants to learn. And anybody else, you know, you just go in your corner and do what you do in your corner, and please stop bringing up Moors. Islam to all, and to all a good night.